Hi everyone, welcome to our Blueprint Communication Strategy. I'm Francio Botha. Thank you for joining me. And so the focus of this presentation is going to be to give you tools to effectively communicate with the community that you are leading. This is specifically focused on those who are the pioneers, the leaders, the elders in the community who really have the heart to push this thing forward. And it really is going to require a push because we are in a dire state as a nation, and it's not to be negative, it's to be realistic about what needs to be done in terms of work. But communication is key: clear, efficient, transparent, and consistent communication. And this is what the strategy is about, but it comes in story form, and that's the key part. I think everybody loves a story. Even Jesus used the parables, story form, to really communicate and bring across the concepts that he had at heart. And so this is what this is going to be about. It's going to be focused at doing quality relationships so that we have an effective and efficient and healthy economy. And so as we talk through this, be aware that we are going to use terms that sound like business, that sound like marketing, but also that sounds like family and community, because they are all connected and intertwined with one another. So let's get going. Blueprint for the community for effective communication. And so as we get into this, our community story is the most important part of this. It's really to get behind who is our community, where are they at, and where do they want to go? And those are the type of questions we need to answer. And so we want to take them from struggle to significance. And we do this by getting the community to buy in. But how do we get them to buy in? Consumers or customers or the community buy according to what they hear, not what we think we communicate. Very important. We can't just blast communication at them. We need to really get feedback from our community. A healthy relationship is to give and to take. And so we need to speak a language which is with clear terms they will understand. So therefore, we first need to listen to what our community, our customers have to say. Then we can serve them well. And so this is the part. With good relationship builders, they are also good listeners, and we need to be those people. I know you are a pioneer. I know you are an effective leader, and you are normally out ahead before everybody else. But we can't leave the community behind. Like Moses did, he had to get in sync with the tempo of the community, even though he was so far ahead of them. Father said, listen, get back to your people. And that's what we need to do. So healthy socioeconomic equals healthy economy, and healthy relationships equals healthy businesses. And that's what we are looking at. So as we go through this blueprint, remember, it's designed in such a way that it is a template, but that it's based on principles, so you can apply it to your personal relationships, your family, your community, your business, marketing, all of that, because it all resounds and revolves around quality relationship, and that is, in effect, what sells at the end of the day. That is what gets people motivated to take action, and that's what we are focused on. So let's get going. So do the community know what they need? You can even apply this to your family. Do your family know what they need? Your business, your customers, do they know what they need? Because they all form part of the community. And so we need to start with quality market research. We need to start with getting in behind where they are, who they are, where do they want to go. And so if we identify what they want, then we can identify what the problem is, which we need to overcome. So who or what is opposing the community from getting what they want, the obstacle. And then what will their lives look like after they implement the blueprint? What is the benefit after they implement the plan? And so when we start the conversation and we realize what their needs are, what they want, we can then resolve to the root issue, which is the problem that stops them. And then we can action a plan which gets them out of that position. And so this all comes down to our pictogram, which is the story form we're going to follow. This is an easy 7-step or a 6-step story that you can follow, and you can apply this. You will see this in every movie. There's a hero that is still in its development phase. So the hero is not mature yet. The hero has a problem that they need to overcome, and then they meet the guide. So if you think about the Karate Kid, it's a perfect example where the Karate Kid comes along, he gets bullied, he needs to overcome this bully problem, and then he meets Mr. Miyagi, who is the guide, the elder, who teaches him, who leads him. And then from there, Mr. Miyagi gives him a plan, and then the boy needs to agree to the plan, which is calling him to action. And then he needs to work through this plan until eventually he avoids being bullied, but it also ends in success for him as an athlete or as a leader of the community. And so we're going to take this, we're going to look at our community, and we're going to say, where is our community at? And let's start a conversation with them so that we can dissolve, distill to what their problem is. Do they have a problem? Where are they at? And then as the elders, we listen to where they are. We gather the information for their benefit. And then we start crafting a plan which benefits them, which is according to who they are, where they are, their culture, their language, how they speak, body language, all of that. And once we have that, and we communicate that to them, we can call them to action and then say, okay, if you are consistent with working out this plan step by step, then you will either end with success or you will avoid this catastrophic failure, which is the end that you are looking at. And so both of those are kind of where we are as a nation. We want success, but we also want to avoid another load shedding catastrophe. So this is what we are going to work through this presentation. So remember this picture as we go through, that you need to identify as a leader the community, who they are, the problem that they have, and then how you can position yourself as a leader, the plan that needs to be created, how the plan is actioned out clearly, and then with the end result. Right, so at the end of the presentation, I want you to basically get your elevator pitch sorted out, which is the 5-second answers. It's these 3 questions will be able to help you to communicate to your community very simply, very clearly, the problems, the solutions, and the plans. And so what do we have to offer the community as a leader? What do you have to offer them? How will it make their lives better? And what do they need to do to achieve this positive result? So the aim is to give you a tool as a leader when you prepare your community gathering and you're going to pitch the blueprint idea to them. Then you have a tool that you can communicate with them in a story form that is very inviting, that creates trust. It's not high-level communication. It's just easy. It's a good relationship builder. Even if you start going into projects, how do you pitch your project to your stakeholders, to your community members, everybody involved? And so this is what this tool is about. So as we go through this presentation, try apply this to something that is actively happening in your life so that you can get a pen and paper and start writing it down as we go through this. So do your homework while we are busy with this. So what are the community pain points? And so this is the stumbling blocks. This is the hurdles that they need to overcome. These are the things that keep them awake at night. And so there are 3 levels of conflict, 3 levels of pain points within the human characteristic. And so we're going to use a lot of statistics boiled down into easy steps, easy ways to understand how the human psychology works and how to get them to take action. And so it is boiled down, the conflict levels are boiled down to the external problems, internal problems, and philosophical problems, which is your higher tier things. It's what you want to achieve in life. And so external problems, very, very simple. It's physical, it's tangible problems. It's like, I lost my wallet, I'm losing money, I'm getting stressed. You can see the stress on people. I'm losing sleep, health issues. And then internal problems is normally how companies position themselves to do sales, because it is such a massive leverage model. So internal problems is one of the strongest motivators. And so companies tend to sell solutions to external problems, the physical stuff, but people buy solutions to internal problems. And so this is the exact same principle we need to follow. We're going to provide them with physical plans, physical solutions, but to solve the internal problems that they have as a community, as your family, as your business. And so, do I have what it takes? Are they struggling with self-doubt? That's the question the community asks. Stories teach us that people's internal desire to resolve a frustration is greater motivator than the desire to solve an external problem. We know this with people who are stressed about their physical appearance. They will walk with pain for a very long time just so that they look good. If they don't look good, they will immediately either fix their hair, their makeup, their shoes, whatever, because it is an emotional response. Even though they are walking with a physical pain, they don't care. And so that is a massive motivator for people. And then the philosophical problems is the questions. It is to ask why. So why? Why does solving this problem matter or make a difference in the greater picture of humanity? So you're thinking beyond yourself, beyond your community even. What's the deeper meaning? They want to be involved in a story larger than themselves. So this is the higher tier thinkers. So it's mostly people that are pretty sorted out in life that start thinking like this. And they want to make a difference, be remembered, or change the course of history for the better. So the community is a group of individuals. Newsflash. But it's important to remember that we are looking at individuals. And so the social economic structure and order is based on individuals, and then it just gets multiplied on a group level, a community level. And so this socio-economic structure and order is something you strategically need to understand. There are 4 points that you need to get. And so we help the individual meet their personal needs first, and it's mostly in this order that I'm going to mention now. So you can see on screen the first 4 points. And so food it's your fight or flight. It's your main thing. If you don't have anything to eat or drink, you are in this state of either paralysis or adrenal overboost. And so this is where we need to sort out people's income. They need a job so that they can eat and that they feel satisfied on a basic energy level. Then we step over to is it safe? So do I have a car? Do I have a house? Do I have insurance? A medical aid, or can I pay for my medical requirements, all of that. And so that is on the edge of fight or flight, because if you get those first 2 tiers sorted out, you then step into a phase where you are comfortable as an individual and now you pursue relationships. And so this is where we want people, because then they are stable enough, focused enough, so that we can do friends, marriages, community, projects, all of that. If we don't sort out the first 2 problems, we're not going to have stable individuals, a stable community to even target the root causes that is the problem of our society, of our economy. And then level 4, like we just discussed in the previous slide, is the higher meaning of life questions. So it's spiritual, making a difference. It's thinking about inheritance 2 generations from now. And so when we serve the individual, we create trust and community buy-in. And so it is about building momentum. But we need to be strategic about this. So the socio-economic structure does not function as a series process, because you know what is happening in your community, in your town. And not everybody is on level 1. Not everybody is on level 4. It's a combination of this. And so the community has many individuals whose needs and pain points differ. Therefore, we need to be strategic in solving and serving the pain points from numbers 1 to 4 to ensure we convert trust into economic growth and limit entitlement. And so we can't just give away forever. We need to help people until they are sustained and they mature with us. So it is empowering, it's equipping, and then it is about accountability and transparency. Are they stepping up or not? Because we can't give forever, because entitlement is a root cause and a root issue of where we are today in our nation. And so this is what you need to keep in the back of your mind when you talk to your community and to your people. At what level are they functioning? And it can be a combination of the 4. And so they don't just fit into one tier. Right. Learn how to speak or to ask the right questions. So it is about asking questions first, because we can never make the assumption that we know where our community are. And so let's get behind it. Let's get the people involved who is part of nonprofits, who is part of the business community. Let's get a good combination of people to participate in this question asking process. So let's look at it from a dating perspective. How are you preparing for your date? Now, if you look at the 7 points here, it translates back to that pictogram that I showed you. So if you look at the bottom right corner, you will see it's again the hero, the problem, the guide, the plan, the call to action, and then the end result. And so these 7 points kind of lead towards that. So everybody wants to be taken somewhere special. So now we're starting to tell the story. Where are you taking your wife or your husband for a date? If it's nowhere and you tell it like that, we're just going to Wimpy or wherever, they're not going to be that excited because it takes quite a bit of preparation to get ready for a date. And so you have to shower, you have to get your makeup done, you have to dress, and you have to look at what are you going to wear. And so it takes a little bit more energy from your side to entice, to encourage, to invite, to inspire the other party to come to the party. And so if we don't tell people where we are taking them, they will stay where they are comfortable. And so we need to tell the story in a way that really excites and inspires people. So we inspire the community to become the heroes and leaders of change in their own lives, in their own story. And so it's a small but powerful shift that honors the journey of the community and positions us, the pioneers, the leaders, wherever you are, even in a project, in your business, that positions us as the leader or elder providing the plan, the wisdom, the products, or the service they need in order to thrive as a hero, as a leader. And so this is the growth part of the character where it develops. And so that is kind of the hero, the community. It's the green step one. And then companies tend to sell solutions to external problems, but customers buy solutions to internal problems. And it's true for any relationship. So if we sell gardening services, for example, they're coming to us because they are embarrassed about their overgrown lawn. So it's an external solution to an internal problem. If we sell financial advice, they're coming to us because they're worried about their retirement plan. So we need to get plans that fit their emotional needs, the problems that keep them awake at night. If we sell the kingdom, we cater to their feeling, their calling of restoring chaos to a righteous order. And so that is kind of the problem. That's the red flag. The community is not looking for another hero. They are looking for a guide. So leaders who position themselves as heroes unknowingly compete with the community and they need to grow and reach their potential. And that's not what we need to do. We want to be good fathers who position ourselves alongside those who want to mature and grow into full potential. And that is what we do. That's our mantra in an essence, is we come alongside you to help you to reach your full potential. So continuously position yourself in that place because it's a place of honor. It's a place of it's helping. It's problem solving. Somebody who's got a unique calling. And so that is what the guide does. And so point number 4, communities trust a guide who has a plan. Very important. Where are you taking me? If you just say, get in my car, I'm taking you somewhere, it sounds like I'm going to get kidnapped. And so that's not what we want. We want clear communication. People are looking for a philosophy, an idea, a viewpoint, a vision, a mission they can embody. So it's something they feel connected to. So it's simple and it's clear. That's how you need to communicate at this point. So this is the plan part. It's the orange flag. So when you start communicating your plan, it needs to be clear. So they are looking for a series of steps they can take to solve their problem. So it's once again simple and clear. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where we're going. And then people are looking for something credible and tangible in which they can believe. And so that's the emotional part. The guarantee part, or can I trust you? And so a clear plan, yes. And if we have a guarantee that the risk is managed well, cool, I will go on a date with you. And so that is the orange flag kind of sorted out. So point 5, people don't take action unless they are challenged to take action. So you can talk about the date, but if you don't ask your date to go with you, to go on a date, it's not going to happen. And so it needs to be consistent. And some girls want to be asked many times. And so it's really about getting the point across that, man, I'm in this for the win, because they're testing you. Are you really authentic about what you want to do? And so that is the call to action. Every human being is trying to avoid a tragic ending. And so call to action is the purple flag, that's point 5, and point 6 is the gray flag. What is at stake? That is the question we need to get behind. If nothing can be gained or lost, nobody cares. So if nothing is gained or lost, we're comfortable. Who cares? The problem was we did this for a long time with load shedding. And so we need to step up and really start asking the hard questions. What is at stake? Because we can't be lulled into a false sense of security anymore. We don't have the luxury. And we must show people the cost of not taking responsibility for their community. And so luckily we've got a lot of great examples in our nation. What happens if you do nothing? And so let's not repeat that. And then number 7, never assume people understand how your vision and mission can change their lives. We must tell them. And so we must tell the community how great their life can look if they participate in the restoration blueprint for your town, for your family, for your business. Remember the tools we give you, even the blueprint can be applied to your business and family life. And so if we can't clearly communicate this to them and consistently tell them what it is, they're not going to take the opportunity which is at hand, because it's easy to be comfortable. All right, connecting with the community. So now we are on the date. We've done our prep. And so the prep was to get your story straight in a marginal way. But now we're going to start asking the questions so that we can get the information. We're now doing our market research. And so how to make a great first impression. It's important going on a date, not looking like you haven't taken a bath for a very long time. It's really about the first impression. And so this is what part of this communication strategy presentation is to give you a tool you can polish to the point where you really connect well with your community. We are comfortable sharing what you are sharing in a practical way, knowing what points you need to hit to get the message across in a clear, simplified, effective manner. And so how to make a great first impression. The community will ask, can I trust this person? Can I respect this person? And so these are questions that we need to answer as a leader, as a presenter. Once we express empathy and demonstrate authority, we can be positioned as the guide of the community, the guide they've been looking for. And so let's look at empathy. The community feels seen, heard, and understood. So it's a key position of listening. We understand how it feels too. And so nobody should have to experience, and I like you, I feel frustrated by, corruption or whatever. What care? We care about your problems, your issues. And so it is really about, empathy is about really connecting and synchronizing with where people are, really listening to where they are, not trying to kind of just insert a lot of problem solving, all marriages, when your wife talks to you, you listen. It's not about solving a problem. It's first to listen, to build the trust, to build the connection. And so that is what the empathy part is to really synchronize with where people are at. And that creates trust. And that's what we need if we want to go forward. And so authority, this is to embody the identity and values of the blueprint. You really need to walk out the kingdom in its fullness if we want to see this thing, but people need to see it within you. Otherwise, you're not going to carry that leadership position. They're not going to trust you. You're not going to seem authentic. And so no one likes a know-it-all, and no one likes to be preached at. And so it's being positioned well, but still listening. And so only through empathy and authority do we create trust. And only after trust is established will the community participate. And so those are the two key results or fruits that we gain from being emphatic and being authoritative figure, but knowing who we are, not being a dictator, being consistent in who we are in our identity and values. So what questions should we ask? So we're still on the date, and now we are kind of listening. We are synchronizing with our community. And so tools that you can use is Google Forms. It's physical forms. It's all of those physical things where you can get people's feedback. And so this is what the slide is about. It's to give you an idea of how you even can do and this is the marketing research and how you can do your marketing research in your family, in your business, in your community. It's about getting information back and really sitting and studying that information to see which are the common denominators, so that from that you can distill the root cause, because you start seeing the common problems and then you need to see, okay, if everybody's getting sick, if the hospitals are really full, what is the issue here? And after a while, you start realizing it might be the water. So we need to start a water cleaning project in our community, because that sorts out all of the waterborne diseases. It lifts the mortality rate or limits the mortality rate. And so these are the things that you need to look at. And so the type of questionnaires you get connected, you connect your community with is really important, because it gives you long-term data, but it also gets your community involved immediately, and it feels to them like they matter, because they are their opinion, the information is captured, and you are actually using it. And so work from the outside in. And so start with the big picture community questions and then work your way, let me just clear that, towards asking personal, individualistic focused questions. And so it's really working from the outside in, not starting in the middle, because if I don't know you and I just come and I ask really personal questions, that's not going to create trust. That's going to be very invasive and it's going to be overpowering. And depending on your personality type, you might close off completely. So the strategy is to start with easy questions, like you are on a date. You don't want to scare people. You really want to honor them where they are at. So this will feel less invasive when they barely know each other. So that's, as a leader, you come and you just ask the necessary outside questions and allow people to lead you into how deep the questions are that you may ask. And so let's just look at, do you think we are thriving or surviving? Starting off with a question like that, because you've organized a community get-together already based on the fact that we want to solve problems. So you can start leading with questions like that, because people know what they will expect there. And so you can start with the community. What do you think are the biggest issues in your community? And now you can use your socio-economic structure, and you can say, well, is it level 1 stuff, food economy? Is it level 2 stuff, safety? Is it level 3 stuff, relationships? Or is it higher purpose things that we need to solve? And so what do you think is the root cause of the problem? So you can really there will be experts in your community that will be able to pinpoint that, or other people will give you very gray, kind of over the top answers, but that will still give you a direction in which you can work. And then what do you think will solve this problem? And so you're getting good feedback, and then you work your way from community to family focused to individualistic focused questions, or more or less the same thing. And so the community desires normally revolve around to be safe, happy, healthy, and strong. So this is the health and wellness side of it. They have the economy. Okay, so do they have the economic and social resources to eat, drink, reproduce, and fend off competition? Conserving financial resources, can they save money, live better? And so it's, once again, it's safety and economy. Conserving time, so it's opportunity cost, giving you more time to spend with your family. And so that's what they desire, more time. Building social networks, they desire to nurture or be nurtured, belong to a tribe or community. So gaining status, that's something of the higher tier levels. It projects a sense of abundance that may attract powerful allies, repel potential foes, and might even secure mates. So it's relationship focused, and so it's on tier 3. So accumulating resources, help people make money and accumulate needed resources, offering increased productivity, increased revenue, and decreased waste. So we look at all types of higher tier level questions or desires there. And the innate desire to be generous, and so that's level 4, give us a sense of belonging. We want other people to survive too. And then the desire for meaning, the need to participate in something greater than themselves, all level 4. And so you can see how the community, if you understand the 4 levels, when they start talking, you can say, okay, maybe it's economy, maybe it's socioeconomic, okay, it's level 1, it's level 3, it's level 4. And so it really helps you to understand where your community is at and how you can serve them well. Right. So the fight against evil. Every story needs a villain. You know it when you read a book or watch a movie. That's how it works. This is kind of the barrier that needs to be overcome. And so this is not to put focus on the problem or the evil of the unrighteousness in the world, but to help the community connect with the root issue causing the chaos. The focus is to empower them to rally as one and take action. That's why the villain is there. It helps us focus. So identifying the villain, very important. The villain doesn't have to be a person or organization. In actual fact, it's a lot easier when you don't start pointing fingers. So otherwise, we get distracted with persons and their personalities. And that's not what we want. We want to use the personified characteristics within the root cause. So without question, the villain should have personified characteristics. So the villain, distractions, resistance, corrosion, discipline, self-control, corruption, distrust, governance, those are the human or personified characteristics that you can connect to it. And so 4 characteristics that make for a good villain is the villain should be the root source. And it can't be too many things. So frustration, for example, is not a villain. Frustration is what a villain makes us feel when we have high taxes. So high taxes is a good villain. Why in South Africa is it a good villain? Because we don't get good service delivery. But if you are one of the top tier European countries like Switzerland, where they get absolute spectacular service delivery, you might be happy paying a lot of taxes, if that is possible. And so that is what we need to look at for, it needs to be a root source, and it must be something that is tangible, physical. Remember, we spoke about that. So the villain should be relatable. When people hear us talk about the villain, they should immediately recognize it as something they disdain, they really dislike or hate. And that's why high taxes might not be the problem, but the way it influences our lives and the lack of good service delivery, for example, we get, it really makes it a disdained or a despicable action in our lives. The villain should be singular. One villain is enough. Too many villains create a lack of clarity. So we want clarity. So you focus on one thing. So when you work through your community's market feedback, the questionnaires, the conversations that you have, really try to get to the main root issue. And if you start targeting that, everything auxiliary to that or connected to that will then also be sorted out. So that's why getting good market feedback is absolutely vital. The villain should be real, never fearmonger. So the problem is sometimes we kind of exploit this scenario or situation, and we kind of escalate it, and it becomes a fictional level of fear. We don't want fiction, we want real. So be honest, be true of the level of fear that it is, because it helps us also plan accordingly. Otherwise, if you say the villain is 10 times larger than it is, it means your budget and your plan also needs to be 10 times larger, your resources, your people power. And then when you come to solving the problem, it doesn't make sense. And so you overspend, you over budget, and it's not an economic viable model. And so never fearmonger. There are plenty of real villains to fight. Let's go after them on behalf of the community, providing sustainable solutions they can implement. So go after the real villains. The more you talk about the villain, the more people will want a tool to help them defeat the villain. It's just obvious that the more you highlight the root cause, people are then focused, and they are in a position where they are like, we can defeat that. If we defeat that, we are in a good space. And so that makes it easy for them. Once we understand our community's problems, we will have a better idea of how to talk to them in such a way that they engage. Really important. So the villain is now identified. So the plan or the blueprint for your community, for your business, for your relationships, your family. So here's just a note. The plan has both a big picture, a macro scale, and a detailed micro scale and elements, and all of which will have the same socioeconomic impact on the community. So if you apply this on a large scale, it's got the same benefits. On a macro or a micro small scale, it's got the same benefits. And so no matter the scale, when we communicate clearly, we will get the benefit. And so this communication template that we're working through can be applied to any part of the blueprint. And so it can be in the project side, it can be in just connecting with the community side, it can be when we transfer it as an inheritance. So in each level of it, this is important. And so to ensure effective communication and engagement and economic growth, very important. So we want to ensure effective community engagement because healthy relationships establishes healthy businesses, which is an economy that grows. And so let's get back to the slide. Joining the vision and mission is not a characteristic of a casual relationship. Very important. We are asking them to commit. And so commitments are risky for people because as soon as they commit, they can lose something. You know it, I know it. And it's not always the same thing, but it's either emotional or physical or both. And we want to limit the level of risk people feel. And so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to use the plan, the blueprint, and it must bring clarity. That's the main thing. So it must create clarity. It either clarifies how somebody can do business with us. So that's the economic benefit. So clear steps, telling them how they can do business with us, how they can benefit. Or it removes the sense of risk they might have, a feeling, if they are considering committing to the vision and mission. So it's the emotional benefit. So it's either economic or it's the relationship side. And so you just divide it up into these two, and then you know how you should structure your planning and what steps you should follow. So the process plan, which is your step-by-step guide you're going to develop for connecting with your community. This outlines the steps the community needs to take to join the vision and mission of the blueprint. So it's simple. Listen, guys, we are calling you to action. And so this is in the call to action process. What do you need to do to help us? What do you need to do to reach success? Easy, 3 steps, and it's done. So for example, if we say you sign up this form here, you get involved in a project, and you manage a project, and we will have success. 4 steps, it's clear cut. But if we say reach the best success ever, it's an open-ended idea. It doesn't help people to see, listen, okay, this is what I need to commit to, and this is what it will ask of me. We all have limited resources, time, finances, all of that. I need to calculate, can I get involved with this? How much is it going to take from my family life, from my business, from my physical resources in terms of finance that I need to kind of invest in this to make this happen? And so if we tell them easy, 4 steps, 5 steps, they know how they can budget. If we leave it open-ended, it makes no sense, and it's not clear, they're not going to get involved. And so that's why when you start with the community and you want to get them involved, make it easy. Show them the steps on the screen. When you get your project planning going, show the steps on the screen when you get your stakeholders involved. And so it's really about the step-by-step guide. This is the process plan. And so it describes the steps the community needs to take to use the blueprint. That's the other part. So when we are going to issue the final, the more relevant and up-to-date part of the blueprint, it will have more clear steps in it as well. We are growing it as the community gives us feedback. And so that will help you when you go through the blueprint to go, okay, these are the steps that we need to take for the community. And so with that, you can clearly communicate with using this template, this communication strategic plan. So if you've got a process plan or a step-by-step guide, you need to get people involved. You are asking them to commit. So you're showing them the levels of commitment, and then you are clearly communicating to them how they can then use the plan. So it's how do you commit, and then how do you use the plan, a couple of steps. And so if you need any more support on this, this is why the National Resource Center is there, the NRC, and guys with expertise and understanding. So connect with us, talk to us, schedule an appointment, allow us to create a customized plan with you for your community, or let us execute a plan together. That's when you kind of cooperate in joint ventures or project manage together, or any of those options. Just know that there is support for this. But within your community, also look for support. You've got guys that are absolutely fantastic at communication, social media, project planning, all of this. So use the people that are good at what they do, and then just apply this template, simplified step-by-step guide. So this is the process plan. So now we've sorted out the economic benefit side. How can I benefit with resources? Now we come to the agreement plan, which is the emotional side. So if process plans are about alleviating confusion, agreement plans are about alleviating fears. So it's the emotional side. It can work to clarify shared values between the community and us. So it alleviates the uncommunicated expectations and the fear of losing. We all know in relationships, uncommunicated expectations is the root cause for a lot of problems in the future. So this is the part where we negate the emotional side, the emotional risk side, by clearly communicating our agreement plan. And so your agreement plan might be titled, in our everyday lives, we come across this all the time. So it's your consumer satisfaction agreement, or even, let me just get this out of the way, our quality agreement plan or documentation, which it's like 30 days money back guarantee. What risk is there for you? And so these are the examples that we need to use in our community to say, listen guys, when you get involved and this is too much, this is how you step out. This is where you step out. This is only how far you have to go if you are not willing to commit any further. And so it's clearly communicating, helping people to step up in manageable steps. Because remember, some people are on level 1, fight or flight, some people are at level 4. And so we need to meet the people where they are at. Okay, pursue the community and call them to action. So we are now at the call to action flag. We've now laid out the plan using our process. Let me just go back. Sorry for that. So we are using our process plan, and we are using our agreement plan to communicate clearly with them. So challenge the community to take action and sign up to the newsletter. So we've got the plan now laid out, the step-by-step guides. They know emotional risk that is on there, and so now we call them to action. And so now you will see in your community who is really willing to go 100%, who's not willing to go maybe just 50, 10%. And so we need to allow space for all of them, because all of them needs to journey with us. And so challenge the community to take action, or if they're not ready, sign up to the newsletter, which is a communication channel, even your WhatsApp channel, to keep the connection going. And so this is now, after all your documentation and forms you used to gather all your information, you then drew up a process plan and an agreement plan, which is your plan. How you're going to solve this problem, how you're going to get people involved. And so you told them where you are taking them, the community. And now you are at the point where you're calling them to action. So now it's all your communication channels that come into play. So first you had market research documentation, which is your listening channel. Then you had your project planning phase, which is your making it absolutely clear through step-by-step guides. And now we are in the place where we are now broadcasting back to them through our communication channel. And so now you use all your social media, newsletters, all of that networks that you are building up through this, maybe networks that you already have with people that would be interested in this. You can connect with them. And so this is the fastest way to grow a community, is to make the calls to action clear and then repeat them over and over again. Remember consistency. When the girl says no on the first ask for the date, don't give up. You are there to give them something spectacular. So don't believe, do you believe in the vision and mission of the blueprint? So this is important, because this is the point of, if you don't believe in it, how will anybody else believe in it? So when we don't ask clearly for commitment because we don't believe, because we're unsure, the community will sense a lack of authenticity. You will look scared, you will look weak, and they will sense that. Nobody wants to partner with a guide or a leader who is not authentic. And so you should not doubt your product or service. What we are giving them, a product or service, whatever it might be, we should not doubt it. If we can change our community story for the better, why shouldn't we be bold about inviting them to join us? This is the heart behind this thing. So if we are passionate about changing their lives for the better, why shouldn't we be bold and authentic about it? And so the guide must be direct with the hero, the community, about what they want the hero to do. Otherwise, the plot gets muddled, muddy, unclear, and people lose interest because they are comfortable. And so we really need to action them and tell the story so good, so well that they want to jump up and go. So the call to action. So it sounds like, listen, we need to get these people going, but there's a fine line. Honor people who aren't ready and don't pressure them to join. So this is where your other channels come in. It's to allow for that blow off, for people to kind of just, man, this was a little bit heated. It's too much for me. Let me just check this out. So we still need to deepen the relationship so that whenever they recognize the need for what we provide, what we sell, it's economic terms. So we are selling stuff. Just think about it. We are providing stuff. So it's all for the good. They will remember us. So we become so consistent. We become this pillar in the community. And it's like with children, in your home, they are looking for the consistent one. They will run to that person when trouble comes. And so that's who we want to become in their lives. And so we keep the communication channel open. We allow them to just look in, peep in through the window, through our social media, through newsletters, through whatever you are using as a communication channel. And so the idea is to make very clear what we'd like the community to do, and it's to join the vision and mission so that we can help them solve their problem. So clearly communicate that through the call to action, even if they are just looking on social media what we are doing. And so here comes the transitional calls to action. So this is a strategy we can use to connect with people beyond physical relationship and for those who just want to kind of look from a distance. So it contains less risk and usually offers a consumer, a customer, a community member something for free. And so you go on more dates before you get married. This is what this is about. So we provide them with additional information or video testimonials of the blueprint in action to build the relationship, to secure that trust. And so the way we do this, we stake our claim, our territory in their lives as somebody that's consistent so that we can become the leader in their lives by creating PDFs, videos, or anything else that positions you as the expert. And that's a great way to establish authority and empathy, authenticity, because they get the feedback that we're listening. And they get the feedback that we know what we are doing because we're listening, because we are striking at the points which is their emotional needs. And so you can create anything that creates a feeling of reciprocity, or exchange. It's where they feel like, okay, this is unconditional. They are still providing me with good quality value, even though I'm not giving anything. They're not getting anything out of me. And so free testimonials, free information, that's what we do on our social media pages. And that's why it's so important as a community to start recording your journey from the start. So start your Facebook page, your Instagram page, wherever your community is living. That you can ask that in your forms as well. Where do you spend the most time on social media? What's your preferred social media platform? And so what are the stakes? We need to define the stakes to make the story interesting. We need to know what we will win or lose as a community, as a family, as a business. And so we need to consistently tell people, what are you going to lose? We can't play the same game with load shedding. Otherwise, we're going to position ourselves for a lot of failure. And so it is about using that question, the stakes, to leverage the motivation that is there. And so the focus is to help the community reach its goal and potential by leveraging the energy and resources that are on hand. So it's that energy that sits behind that emotions. You can't sleep. If we can leverage that for positivity, then it's amazing. And so it's not about manipulating, but speaking to their pain points and providing them with opportunity to make a positive change. That's what we do. We're creating this greenhouse of opportunity and safety. And so avoiding failure, the only two motives people, the hero, the community, have to escape something bad or experiencing something good, the two opposites of the same coin, or desire to avoid pain or discomfort motivates us to seek a resolution to our problem. That's why you swerve out in traffic and not hit the next car, because you don't want to have pain or discomfort. This is why it is important to clearly define what is at stake, so that people can know, listen, there's a car there, there's a ditch there, don't go there. Let's go with a clear plan and let's drive around these obstacles or points of pain. And so people are motivated by loss aversion. They don't want to lose. They've got an aversion towards it. And so here's a cool statistic. In other words, people hate losing $1,000, 1,000 rand, more than they like winning 1,000 rand. This, of course, means loss aversion is a greater motivator for taking action than experiencing something good. So in certain situations, people are 2 or 3 times more motivated to make a change to avoid loss than they are to achieve a gain. So this statistic comes from testing people who found or won 1,000 rand and then lost it or got taken away. And when they measured people's sense of positive energy when they won it versus when they lost it, the negative energy, it was 2 to 3 times more negative than winning something they never had to start off with and losing something they never had to start off with. And so that's how the human is designed. And so we need to leverage this so that we can be a positive catalyst in people's lives, saying, listen, let's rather use that psychological, strategic point in your life for your benefit. So how do we get their attention to bring about positive change? So let's go through four questions. First, we must make our community know they are that they are vulnerable to a threat. So it's really helping them identify what is the villain, what is the root cause of the villain. So that's point 1. The second point, we should let them know that since they are vulnerable, so you're saying like, okay, we've established that there is an issue here, and now that this issue is here, they should take action to reduce their vulnerability. So we're leveraging that energy and now saying, okay, stop focusing on the issue, let's start focusing on the plan. So third, we should let them know about a specific call to action that protects them from the risk. So that is step up, step in, and let's get this plan going. And then fourth, we should challenge people to take this specific action. So let's make this more practical. So we have a community, a hero, and now we're telling them, listen guys, you've got a water issue in your town. We need to really solve this out. But they're like, okay, cool, water, we know, people are getting sick. But now you start telling them that you've got health risks. Pregnant moms with babies, they've got health risks. Waterborne diseases, it involves all the cattle or livestock in the area. It's got malaria that might break out. And now you start telling people about this. And so now they start to realize, wow, we are really vulnerable to this. Because if you live in a good house with a filter system, you might not be vulnerable to this. But if the waterborne diseases now get airborne through mosquitoes and it evolves into malaria, you might ask a different question because you are not that protected anymore. And so now you start revealing it on level 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the socioeconomic structure so that people can start buying in. Then thirdly, we let them know about a specific call to action. Okay, guys, we're going to start a co-op in our town to solve the water problem. And then when you present them with a very specific plan, with stakeholder opportunities, all of that is step 4. And you challenge people to get involved and to govern this thing into health and a healthy community. And so fear-mongering is counterintuitive. So that when you speak and when you kind of present your plan, you need to be aware that when people are either very fearful or very afraid, there is little attitude or behavioral change or results because they get paralyzed. So it's really about just being on point with the truth the reality of the issue, not blowing it exponentially out of proportion. High levels of fear are so strong that individuals block them out. Low levels are too weak to produce the desired effect. And so you need to be in the middle and strike a good balance. Communication containing moderate amounts of fear housing are the most effective in producing attitude and or behavioral change. And that's what we want. So the questions are, what is at stake? What are you helping your community to avoid? What is the issue? What are the negative consequences if you don't do it? Could they lose their income or business? Are they future health risks if they do nothing? What about opportunity costs? Could their quality of life decline? And so these are the questions that as a leader, you need to kind of present to your community in a way that you get the feedback that you need to see where they are at. Because if they are not aware of the stakes, by really doing introspection, we are not going to get the involvement on the level that is necessary to bring about change. And so here's the brilliant part about our story process is that it ends in success. And always remember, people want to be taken somewhere. So on the date, as we go, as we tell the story, we tell them about where we are ending. And so this is what we continuously need to remind them about, the goal that we are hitting or the end result we want to achieve. So where is the plan taking people? Are you taking them to financial freedom or security? And so you need to speak to their pain points. To the day when they will feel safe in their homes, to a time of fun and healthy relationships with family and friends. Where does the community want to go? So that's what you as a leader need to distill through your market research. Without a vision, the people perish. We are going to offer our community what they want most, a happy ending to their unique story. And so the ending should be specific and clear to their needs. We have to talk about the end vision we have for their lives in all our communications. So it's through our emails, our websites, our social media, everywhere where we are communicating. Okay, so we're back to this story process. And so you know now this is the community and we need to listen to them so that we can absolutely distill what their problem is, so that we can come alongside them as guides with resources that can help them overcome this burden. But as we come alongside them, we give them a plan according to their problem, their root causes, their issues, so that we can call them to action, so that at the end of the day, we can paint them the picture. Listen, this is where we're going. Healthy healthcare, water systems, economy, good relationships, a clean town, a safe town, all of those things that people want. And so if you look at the big picture, you can then kind of deconstruct it into stepping stones, because where we are pitching it and where people are worlds apart most of the time. And that's why we need to communicate on a very low level. And so here's another statistic. Most of your world leaders communicate at a 4th grade level. And so it is between the years of 10 and 12 cognitively where you need to communicate. So it's really simplifying the concepts and the plans that we are busy with, so that a child of 10 to 12 years old will understand it and grasp the concepts. And so that's where people need communication to build trust and to build the unity to go forward. And so now we can answer the 5-second questions. And so what do we have to offer our community? It's going to be something beautiful. How do we make their lives better? It's through this action plan. And so what do they need to do to achieve this result is to actually get involved. And so you can specify exactly your elevator pitch to communicate fast and clear in a simple and effective way. And so the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. And so I want to end off with saying that this whole presentation is focused on creating unity, a language that unifies us through clarity and transparency. And so I hope you found this to be of value to you. You can use this in your family, in your business, in your community. And so I want to thank you for joining me, and I really hope you are blessed with this. And we will catch you soon for another a deep dive into strategic tools that you can use as a leader for your community. Cheers.